Hi guys, this is Mr. Gore trying to stay warm in this cold winter weather that we're having in Lima, but that's not important. What is important is that this is the very first screencast of the academic year. Now remember I told you that I would create these screencasts to let you know exactly what you needed to do to get prepared and ready to start work the minute you step into class. So let's get to our agenda and find out what we're going to be doing. On Monday, the question that I want you to consider is the following. How does the design cycle help us to solve complex problems? Okay? The reason is that when you get to class, the very first thing I want you to do is get back into your groups that you use, the groups that you were in when you defined each stage of the design cycle and created your graphic. I want you to get back in those groups. I'm going to hand you your graphics, and I want you to choose one person from that group that will present your definition and your graphic to the class. We're going to do that to review the design cycle, because in the second step of the agenda, you're going to continue working in group to complete the following activity. I will give you some materials. I'm not going to tell you what they are right now. I want it to be a surprise, but I'm going to give you a certain set of materials that you will have to use to design and create a freestanding water container. Okay? I'll give you a little bit more information about that in just a second. Now, after we do that activity, you're going to evaluate your group's product solution based on a list of questions that I'll give you on the board. And then finally, I'm going to ask you to self-assess against the Attitudes in Technology rubric that I've posted on the Moodle page. Okay, to give you a better idea about the challenge that you'll be doing in the activity and the rubric, let's take a look at that Moodle page. Here it is. This is the first unit, Introduction to the Design Cycle. Under Criterion F, Attitudes in Technology, you can see that we have the rubric posted there. Okay? Now, I've made this in a separate tab so it's bigger so that you can see it. Here's the rubric. All right, I want you to go onto the Moodle page. Take a look at this. Read it carefully. Now, the thing that's important for you right now is the following. In every rubric that we make in this class, we'll give you a task sheet that tells you what you need to do. Okay? So here are the instructions. In the group work activity, I'm going to give you your materials. You're going to lay them out on the desk, and I want you to first take a minute or two to discuss the materials and the challenge with your group members so that you're all on the same page. Once you've done that, each one of your group members, let's say there's 4, each one of those group members is going to sketch out a design of how you can use those materials to create a product solution that solves the problem. Once all 4 members have completed their design, I want you to share them with the group, and the group must come to consensus. That means that they must come to agreement on one design that you will then create into a product solution. Okay? Once you've decided that, get together, take a few minutes to work out an action plan, decide what work needs to be done and who's going to do the work. Divide up the labor. Once you've got your plan, go ahead and create it, and then we will evaluate it based on how well it meets these 3 specifications. And the specifications are: 1, it must stand alone without the help from anyone in your group. 2, it must hold 250 milliliters of water without spilling a single drop. And 3, it must hold the water for at least 30 seconds. Now, as I explained in the agenda, after you finish this activity, we're actually going to put it to the test and see if it works. Then you're going to answer a list of about 4 or 5 questions that I have for you so that you can evaluate your product solution. And then I'm going to ask you to self-assess your attitude while working in groups and doing this activity. I want you to self-assess using the criteria here in this rubric. Okay, you got it? If there are any questions, please leave them in the comment box below this Facebook posting. Okay, guys, look forward to seeing you tomorrow.